So today we will, so I am going to outline this topic on jointly Gaussian random variables. So because I have only about an hour and this is a very important and fairly detailed topic, so I will skip proofs and such. I will only give you an introduction, okay, and I will, and you can look up some material if you want more details. So you know the one dimensional Gaussian, so the PDF looks like this, right, looks like 1 over sigma square root of 2 pi e power minus x squared by, well, x minus mu squared over 2 sigma squared, right. So this is a Gaussian with mean mu and variance sigma squared. So now, so we want to discuss today jointly Gaussian random variables or random Gaussian random vectors, okay. So we want to talk about a random vector x1 through xn, okay. So this is nothing but these are all random variables and we want to talk about what it means for a vector of random variables to be a Gaussian random vector or a jointly Gaussian random variables x1 through xn, okay. See, one thing in particular I want to say right away is that a random vector is not said to be a Gaussian random vector if each of the entries is Gaussian, okay. So if I tell you that x1 has some Gaussian density and x2 has some marginal Gaussian density and so on, it is not the case that this is considered a Gaussian random vector. A Gaussian random vector is much more than each of the entries being marginally Gaussian, okay. So in a jointly Gaussian vector, in a Gaussian vector or jointly Gaussian random variables, each of these guys will have a marginal which is Gaussian, but that is not sufficient, okay. It is much more than that, okay. That is what we are going to talk about today, okay. So in 2 dimensions, so bivariate, so let us first talk about a bivariate Gaussian and then generalize to a multivariate Gaussian or a Gaussian random vector. So you say that x and y are bivariate Gaussian. So x and y are some random variables which live in the same probability space omega fp. If the joint density fx comma y looks like this. So it would be a standard bivariate. Standard bivariate Gaussian if fxy of xy looks like 1 over 2 pi square root of 1 minus rho squared e power minus x square minus 2 rho xy plus y squared over twice 1 minus rho squared. So this is the standard bivariate Gaussian density. Here rho is a parameter that lies in minus 1 1, okay. So, in this, so what we can show is this, okay. So, I will not show this proposition. So, first of all you have to verify that this is indeed a valid PDF by showing that it integrates to 1, right. So, the standard trick of doing that is to complete squares, okay, the top. This is a standard trick to do that, right. So, this is indeed a valid PDF in 2 dimensions, which is easy to show. Then property A x and y are marginally distributed as n01. B, rho of x y, the correlation coefficients, the correlation coefficient between x and y is equal to rho. And C, the conditional density of x given y is so this is normal with mean rho y and variance 1 minus rho squared. So, we say that this x and y is a bivariate Gaussian if this is your joint PDF. So, what we can show is if you integrate one variable out, let us say you integrate y out, you will get a standard Gaussian in x and vice versa if you integrate symmetric in x and y. So, if you integrate x out you will get a standard Gaussian in y, okay. And so, indeed x and y are marginally distributed as n01. So, x and y are standard Gaussians marginally, okay, but they are not independent, right. So, we are saying that, so if they are independent the density will simply look like the product of the 2 Gaussian densities, right. In this case it is a more complicated form. In fact, you can show that this number rho is in fact the correlation coefficient between x and y. And the way you do that is to explicitly compute expectation of x y, right. Put x, y and integrate this out, you will get rho, okay, which is the correlation coefficient between these standard Gaussians, okay. And the conditional density of x given y, this you can compute using just dividing this by the density, the marginal density of y, which is a standard Gaussian, okay. From there you can conclude that the conditional density is also Gaussian with mean rho y and variance 1 minus rho square, okay. These you can directly compute from this expression. So, that is a very simple, so this is the standard bivariate Gaussian, okay. Okay, so one remarkable fact about this bivariate Gaussian, or in general actually all multivariate Gaussians this is true, is that if you have uncorrelated random variables, if x and y are uncorrelated, then you know that rho is 0, right, correlation coefficient will be 0. So, if you put rho equal to 0 here, what happens? You get 1 over 2 pi e to the minus x square plus y square over 2, right, which looks like the product of the marginals. So, the moment you put rho equal to 0, it immediately implies that, so it immediately implies that the random variables are independent, correct. So, normally we know that independence implies the random variables are uncorrelated, but the converse is certainly not true. Uncorrelated random variables are not necessarily independent. However, in the jointly Gaussian world, so if x and y are jointly Gaussian or which is the same as saying they are bivariate Gaussian, then uncorrelated jointly Gaussian random variables are independent. Okay. So, that is one remarkable property that comes out right from here. Okay. Another interesting thing that you can look at this and figure out is that, so if you want to compute something like, okay, if you want to compute the conditional expectation of x given y, right. So, from here you can compute the conditional expectation of x given y, right, because conditional expectation of x given y equal to little y is equal to rho little y, right, because, so this is your conditional density. So, from here you can easily figure out that expectation of x given y equal to little y is nothing but the mean of this Gaussian, which is rho times little y, right. So, this conditional expectation will be what, rho times big Y, correct. Okay, so this implies that if you have, if all these x, so if x and y are jointly Gaussian or bivariate Gaussian, then expectation of x given y is a linear function of y. Okay. So, in the signal processing people say that, so this is the MMSE estimate, right, the MMSE estimate is a linear function, right. So, linear estimate, so a linear estimate is optimal in the jointly Gaussian world. Okay, this is something that signal processing people use a lot. Okay, if x and y are jointly Gaussian, the MMSE estimate is a linear function of your observation. Y is what you observe, right. Okay, great. So, that is just some this is in the, this is just 2 dimensions. So, if you look at this density itself, so you have to plot this, so you have to plot this x y and you have to plot the density, right. So, it will be some 3 dimensional curve, right. So, if your rho is 0, if they are independent, then you will have a nice symmetric bell curve in all directions, right. You will have a nice, you just plot it in MATLAB, it is very nice to see, right. It will be symmetric in all directions, no matter which way you cut, it will look like a n01, okay. But if your rho is not 0, the distribution is a little skewed in one way, right. So, so if you plot this distribution, right, for some rho value which is not equal to 0, and then you, let us say you slice the PDF, okay, and you plot its level sets as they are called, right. Let us say if this is your PDF, if this is your PDF in 3 dimensions, you slice it at various levels and you plot the level sets, okay. In that case you will get, so the level sets will look like this. So, they are all 0 mean, and so if rho is 0, of course you will get these concentric circles, right, which means like the Gaussian is symmetric in all directions, independent case. If your rho is positive, you get something that you get these concentric ellipses centered at the origin. See, I have drawn it poorly. So, this is centered at the origin and you get these concentric ellipses. So, the Gaussian will look kind of sharp in this axis and quite spread out in that axis, okay. So, the variance along this direction and this direction will both be equal to 1, okay. So, this is for the case rho greater than 0. Okay, and for, so which means rho is greater than 0 means that if x is positive, y is more likely to be positive, right? That is why the ellipses are like this, right. There is more mass along here than along here, right. There is more mass along first and third quadrants than second and fourth quadrants. Similarly, if you have rho less than 0, you will have ellipses that look like that. You just plot it in MATLAB and see. The best way to see this is to actually generate these contour well, these surface plots in MATLAB. Okay. Okay. So, more generally, if you want to talk about uh, a non-standard bivariate Gaussian, the density will be even more messy. Okay. So, this is already messy even for a 0 mean univariate case, right. So, I do not even know I should put, if I should put it down, it is a fairly messy expression. Here I go, let me put it down. Okay. So, so general bivariate Gaussian looks like this. Looks like fxy of xy equal to 1 over sigma 1 sigma 2 square root of 1 minus rho squared x minus half x minus mu 1 squared over sigma 1 squared plus y minus mu 2 squared by sigma 2 squared minus 2 rho x minus mu 1 over sigma 1 y minus mu 2 over sigma 2, close bracket and close that bracket. 2 rho, I think I got that right. Okay. So, it is a big mess. So, it is a big mess to write it down explicitly, right. If you have, so this guy has mean of mu 1 comma mu 2 for x and y. So, expectation of x will be mu 1, expectation of y will be mu 2, and rho as usual will be the correlation coefficient, and sigma 1 and sigma 2 the variances of x and y respectively. Okay. So, thankfully, if you use a matrix notation, this becomes easier to notate. Okay. So, the same thing, use the matrix notation. So, this becomes like this. So, this whole expression can be written as 1 over, I think there is a 2 pi missing somewhere. So, there should be a 2 pi here. One by 2 pi determinant of v e power minus x, so vector x minus vector mu v inverse x minus mu transpose over 2, where, so actually let me call this f x1 x2, okay, x1 x2 of x1 comma x2. So, wherever there is y, let me write x2. Okay. So, here, so my vector x is x1 x2 and my vector mu is mu1 mu2. There is a square root here, and v is sigma 1 squared sigma 2 squared So, basically this will be of the form, so this will be like, so this will be variance of x 1, variance of x 2, and this will have covariance of x 1 x 2, and covariance of x 1 x 2 you can write in terms of rho and sigma 1 and sigma 2. Okay. You can actually, you can just explicitly see that these two are equal. Okay. So, this is the mean vector, the vector of means, expectation of x 1, expectation of x 2, and this is called the covariance matrix. So, it is nothing but the expectation of so x is a row vector, isn't it. So, it is the expectation of x minus mu. So, x minus mu x minus mu transpose, okay, which means you will write all the variances on the diagonals and covariance of x 1 x 2 on the off diagonals. Okay. So, generally what determines, so let us just, so if you just look at a more general joint Gaussian, the center of these ellipses will be shifted to mu 1 comma mu 2, okay, and your variances will decide the spread of these ellipses in both axes. And what you can also show is that these two axes, right, the major axis and minor axis of the ellipse are in fact the eigenvectors of, are determined by the eigenvectors of this covariance matrix. See, this covariance matrix can be easily shown to be positive semi definite, positive definite in case it is actually non singular. Okay. So, if for a positive definite matrix, the eigenvalues define an orthonormal basis in the space, right. So, these two orthonormal vectors define the axis of the ellipse. Okay. So, where this is oriented is determined by the eigenvectors of this matrix. Okay. And so, basically the multivariate Gaussian in the n dimensional case is defined exactly similarly. Okay. What you do is, now it is exactly the same formula except now you will have a vector of n random variables and mean vector will be n long, and the covariance matrix will have variance x 1, variance x 2, variance x n on the diagonals and all the correlation terms on off the off diagonals, covariance terms on off diagonals.